The
Okay.
the 18th century பார்த்தோம் இல்லையா, இப்போ 19th century, that is the 19th century questions. The 19th century, the questions that we have to focus on is say 19th century focus. One is the Eastern question. Second one was the national question, and the third one was the question of balance of powers. The three questions. The questions. Say chasing these those three questions defined the entire history of the 19th century. In that, various important events occurred. One important event of the 19th century was the Crimean War. The Crimean War of 1854 to 56. That was one of the important events. Crimean War of 1854-56. Crimean War was waged between Russia and Turkey. Turkey with the alliance of England and France. With alliance of the England and France. The reason for the Crimean War was the major reason for the Crimean War. One was the Russian claims in the Crimean Peninsula. The Russian claim, one was Russia demanded her rights over the two regions of the two cities there. The rights over the two cities in the mouth of Danube. Danubian principalities. The two cities, that is the Wallachia and Slovenia and the Wallachia, the two cities, two Danubian principalities. The Russian demand over the Danubian principalities. Then the second one is Russia claimed the exclusive rights on the Black Sea. The exclusive rights on the Black Sea. So this say Russian claim on two principalities, Moldavia and Wallachia, the two principalities in the Crimean Peninsula, on the Russian claim of exclusive rights. She claimed that entire Black Sea has territorial regions, territorial waters that was opposed by Turkey and other European powers, in which Russia was defeated. So Crimean War came out with a treaty. It was called as the Treaty of Paris. The Treaty of Paris of 1856. Of redrawal of the national boundaries in Europe. Treaty of Paris is the second occasion of the redrawal of the national boundaries. Treaty of Paris establishes some important, the Crimean War and the Treaty of Paris are the two important events in the study of nation states and international order. Two important events. One was Crimean War established the freedom of sea lanes, the freedom of sea lanes for the nation states. Freedom of sea lanes. Freedom of sea lanes is the question in the South China Sea presently is a dispute, is an issue of dispute between China and the East Asian countries that was for the first time pronounced during the Crimean War. That is the freedom of sea lanes. Nation states are free to move in the sea waters. Then the second one is Crimean War laid the foundation for the internationalism, actually a foundation for the international cooperation, the internationalism and the international cooperation. Because Crimean War laid the foundation for ethics the military ethics. It laid the foundation for the military ethics. The military ethics over the treatment of prisoners of war later emerged as Geneva Convention. Military ethics. Crimean War was associated with the role of Florence Nightingale. உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்சிருக்கணும் Florence Nightingale அந்த மாவை பற்றி தெரியுமா? Florence Nightingale was a renowned நர்ஸாக இருக்கிறவங்களெல்லாம் ஒரு ஐடியல். Florence Nightingale. She served in the Crimean War, treating the people irrespective of the camps. எல்லாரும் அடிபட்டு காயப்பட்டவங்களா ஒரே that laid the foundation. The nation states agreed to follow that convention. That was the importance of the Crimean War. Then the second Crimean War led to redrawal of the national boundaries. The redrawal of the national boundaries, it established, blocked the southward expansion of Russia. Redrawal of the national boundaries by that Crimean War established western boundaries of Russia. The Russia thereafter started the eastward expansion. The eastward expansion of Russia. The eastward expansion of the Russia. Crimean War apparently called as useless war, because 2 years of the Crimean War fought in trenches without any result. Most of the military personnel died out of scurvy. Scurvy, the disease at that time. Scurvy is vitamin C deficiency. At that time, people not aware. Scurvy means death. Only later it was discovered. Most of the people died out of scurvy. And apparently it seems to be useless war, but it created a long-lasting impact that stopped the Russian boundaries. Then Crimean War also seems to be starting point. It is the starting point of Germany and Italian nationalism. German and Italian nationalism in Europe. German and the Italian nationalism in Europe. So, Europe. And Crimean War is also associated with India. That need not to write. India. India, how? Crimean War is the battleground in which that Enfield rifles tested. First time Enfield rifles introduced by the British in the Crimean War. Then it was introduced in India. That triggered the 1857 revolt. Okay, it is also connected with India. So apparently it is useless war, but many important questions came out of it. So Crimean War and the Treaty of Paris had a long-lasting impact in the history of nation states, and the second event of redrawal of the national boundaries in the Europe. Okay, that is the aspect of the Crimean War. Then the next important event after the Crimean War, the next important event of the 19th century that we have to concentrate was Italian and German nationalism. Italian and the German German nationalism. Italian and the German nationalism. Okay, Italian and the German nationalists. Both the Italy and Germany in history called as twin sisters. It is stated that both of them actually lives as brothers. Both of them born out of same event. Both Italy and Germany born out of same historical experience, out of same event. They born together, they lived together, they always fight together. And if it is stated that in history, if Italy got cold, Germany sneezes. அது சளி பிடிச்சா இது because history molds the history influences the nation. These are all the attitude that you have to display in the interviews. In the attitude of history தான் ஒரு அந்த ஒரு தேசத்தினுடைய இதை ஹிஸ்டரி, ஒரு குடும்பத்தினுடைய தன்மையை ஒரு பர்சன், ஒரு இண்டிவிஜுவல் பர்சனாலிட்டி குடும்ப சூழல் நிர்ணயிக்கும். ஒரு தேசம் ஒரு இண்டிவிஜுவலா எடுத்தீங்கன்னா அந்த தேசத்தினுடைய அப்பா அம்மா எல்லாமே சேர்ந்தது history that நிர்ணயிக்கும். So in that history, that both of them say what we have to know about Germany and the Italian nationalism. இந்த ஆட்டிடியூட்ல பார்க்கணும், ரெண்டும் ஒன்று என்ற ஆட்டிடியூட். இப்போ உதாரணமா யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன்ல இருந்து சில நாடுங்க கலந்து போயிட்டு இருந்தது. ஓகே, யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன்ல இருந்து சில நாடுங்க நாங்கள் இருக்க மாட்டோம். லேட்டஸ்டா எந்த நாடு போச்சு? லேட்டஸ்டா யூகே போயிடுச்சு. யூகே எக்ஸிட். நீங்கள் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன்ல கோர் நேஷன்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா ஜெர்மனி, ஓகே, பெல்ஜியம், லக்சம்பர்க் கண்ட்ரிஸ், இதெல்லாம் கோர் நேஷன்ஸ். இதெல்லாம் பெரிஃபரல். பல நாடுகளுக்கு பிரச்சனை வந்தது. யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன் இது இப்போ ஸ்பெயினுக்கு பிரச்சனை வந்து ஸ்பெயின் போகிற மாதிரி இருந்து ஜெர்மனி கண்டுக்கல, போகிறதுன்னா போய்க்குவாங்க. கிரீஸ் நான் போயிட்டு வந்தேன், கண்டுக்கல யாரும். இட்டாலி வந்து ஒரு லியாபிலிட்டி யூரோப்பியன் யூனியனுக்கு. அப்போ இட்டாலி ரொம்ப மோசமான ஒரு நிலைமையில இருந்தாங்க. நாங்கள் போகிறோன்னா ஜெர்மனி விடவே, இன்னும் எதுக்கு போகிற வெளியில், ஆனால் எங்கள் பேங்க் எல்லாம் திவால் ஆகுது. ஜெர்மன் யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன் ரீகேபிட்டலைஸ்ட் ஜெர்மனி விடவே இல்லை. யூகேவே போகிறான்னு, யூகே மேஜர் கான்ட்ரிபியூட்டர் டு யூரோப்பியன் யூனியன், ஜெர்மனி போதான் போய்க்கோ. யூகே போனாலும் போய்க்கோன்னா, நான் இட்டாலி போனால் ஜெர்மனி ஓடி போய் பிடிச்சிச்சு. ஜெர்மன் அது இட்டாலி பேங்க்ஸ், இட்டாலி ஃபுல்லாக சப்சிடி, பரவாயில்ல நீ போகாதன்ட்டு பிடிச்சிருந்தா. ஏன்னா ஹிஸ்ட்ரி அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கு ரெண்டு பேரும். இந்த ஜெர்மனி மிஸ்டர் போத் ஆஃப் தம், நமக்கு என்ன வேணும், போத் ஜெர்மனி அண்ட் இட்டாலி ஹேவிங் எ காமன் எனிமி. Both Germany and Italy was for the first time created by a common godfather. That godfather, that is the foundation, was given by Napoleon. It was the Napoleon who was the first to unite Germany and Italy into a nation. Until the advent of the Napoleon, it was the Napoleon who laid the foundation for German and Italian unification. It was stated that it was the Napoleon, எப்படி சொல்லுவாங்கன்னா, Napoleon who laid the eggs hatched by German and Italian leaders later. So it was the Napoleon, because Napoleon conquest was also always followed by restructuring the state institutions in the conquered territories. When Napoleon conquered German territories, German-speaking principalities, Italians, he united all the German-speaking principalities, the 39 German-speaking principalities, into one called as Confederation of Rhine. And first he unite into on the language lines of the conquered territory. Then he creates French institutions there, enlightened institutions, and he removes the Pope authority. He removes the feudal authority and introduces a uniformity, meritocracy. That is the foundations of a nation. So it was the Napoleon who laid the foundations for the Germany and Italian unity. Italian unification was a dream at that time, until the Napoleon. It was Machiavelli in the 12th century. He dreamed that and he found that Italy is going to lose, and I don't know when this Italy becomes united. After 300 years, after 400 years, Napoleon united. But the things done by the Napoleon was destroyed by Congress of Vienna. The systems. Again, Germany and Italy was restored into feudal and the papal territories under the kingdom of Austria. So one enemy, that is Austria. One enemy, that is the Austria. One founder, one enemy, that is the Austria. It was the Austrian Habsburg Empire who controlled this entire principalities, based on the old Holy Roman Catholic identity, Holy Roman Catholic identity, and it was defended by having a one hurdle that was France, one hurdle that was the France at that time under Napoleon III. It was the two Napoleons. First, grandfather Napoleon created Germany and Italy, but grandson Napoleon was a hurdle for the recreation of Germany and Italy. Hurdle for the recreation of the Germany and Italy. And both of them started with one model. Both of them started with one nucleus to create 39 scattered German states into started by one small principalities, one nucleus state, one nucleus kingdom. Both of them having their respective nucleus kingdom called as Kingdom of Prussia. Kingdom of Prussia for Germany. Kingdom of Prussia for Germany. Then Kingdom of Piedmont for Italy. Kingdom of Piedmont for the Italy. புரிதுங்களா ரெண்டும் இந்த 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 ஐடியாவோட அணுகணும். ஓகே, Kingdom of Piedmont. Both of them triggered their historical process. Germany and Italy triggered their historical process with the event, a single event. The event is Crimean War. That event is the Crimean War. இது தெரிஞ்சுக்கணும். புரியுதா? எல்லாத்துக்கும் ஒரு ஒரு ரெண்டு பேருமே இட்டாலி அண்ட் ஜெர்மனி ரெண்டு பேரும் கிரீமியன் வார்ல தான் ஸ்டார்ட் பண்ணாங்க. கிரீமியன் பிகாஸ் they thought that participating in Crimean War in the support of English and France, would have their legitimacy for their national unification. Legitimacy for the national unification. That is the Germany and Italian unification. இப்போ தனித்தனியா Germany and the Italian unification. The Italian unification. First one is Italian. The Italian liberation. Is the liberation on Italian liberation. The Italian liberation. இதுல நமக்கு தெரிய வேண்டியது Italian liberation started from the Crimean War. இதுக்கு நமக்கு தெரிய வேண்டியது இட்டாலியன் லிபரேஷன்ல நமக்கு தெரிய வேண்டியது certain leaders and events, certain leaders, personalities, the leaders, certain leaders and the event. Italian liberation நமக்கு தெரிய வேண்டியது ஹிஸ்டரி. ஒன்று வந்து Mazzini who organized an organization called Carbonari, called as organization of black shirts. Carbonari, organization with the only objective, an organization of youth with the only objective of create a nation of Italian liberation, and to establish Italy as a republican state. The only objective is to create a Italian liberation. So that formed the basis. Then the second important it promoted the idea of the cause of Italian liberation and unification. Second one was Count Cavour, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Piedmont. Count Cavour, the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Piedmont, was the real architect of the Italian liberation. He started diplomacy as a Prime Minister of the Piedmont. Count Cavour started his diplomatic activities to create to start the process of Italian liberation. ஸோ இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் தான் இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர் இட்டாலியன் லீடர்ஸ். நம்ம ஆன்சரில் இருக்க வேண்டிய லீடர்ஸ்னால் இவங்க ரெண்டு பேர். அப்புறமா கரிபால்டி அது அவ்வளோ தேவை. So event, it was the event of the Italian liberation. The event of the Italian liberation. Italy at that time divided, scattered into principalities, northern regions, the Romanov marshes, central regions, and the southern regions. And the Italian principalities were ruled, most of the principalities, chinna naadugala, most of the principalities were under Pope authorities, bishopuங்க dukeங்க எல்லாம் ஆடினது. Then feudal authorities. So in that he has to unite. He found the only hurdle, the first hurdle for the Italian was the Napoleon III. That's the France. So he called Napoleon III and made a secret agreement with the Napoleon III to have a war with Austria, to have the alliance, to form an alliance, war with Austria. If won, he calculated Napoleon III ambitions on the Italian region called as Lombardy, a larger region of the Italy. And he promised that the Lombardy would be given to you if we won the cause of Austria. That resulted in the event. The event is Piedmont Austrian War. Piedmont Austrian War. First event, he participated in Crimean War and made Piedmont as an ally of got the support of England and France. Then the second one is Piedmont Austrian War of 1864. Piedmont 1862, Piedmont and Austrian War, in which Austria was defeated, and the Piedmont kingdom expanded. The expansion of the Piedmont kingdom. So from 1862 to 1869, the liberation of Italy was started with the expansion and the internal rebellion followed by plebiscites, as well as the role of Garibaldi, who organized an army of black shirts and liberated Italy from the south. So by 1866, Italy was 1869. Italy was almost liberated, but without a soul. Body of Italy created, but without a soul. The soul is Rome. It was the Rome. It was Kingdom of Italy without Rome. Rome is the heart and soul of Italy. Roman is the heart and soul of the Italy, but the Kingdom of Italy dare not to invade Rome. Why? Rome is the seat of Pope. Rome was the seat of Pope and defended by France. So Italian liberation started with the two leaders, with the event. The events, one is Crimean War, second one is Piedmont Austrian War. And Italy is waiting for her sister to get processed. The sister was Germany. It was the German unification. German unification, unlike Italy, German unification was associated with the one leader, with the one and only leader called as Otto von Bismarck. The architect of the German unification. The architect of the German unification, known for his policy. Otto von Bismarck, known for his policy called as realpolitik. Realpolitik. His policy called as the realpolitik. The realpolitik of blood and iron. The blood and iron. What are the politics? What are the futures of Bismarckian politics? It was blood and politics of the real politic of blood and iron based on certain futures. One is organized violence of state. Organized violence of state. State itself promote violence. அரசு அடக்குமுறை, இரும்புக்கரம். Okay. Second one is secret diplomacies. Secret diplomacy. Secret diplomacy. Third one was the military solution. Military solution. Always military solution for the territorial disputes, for the boundary disputes. Military solution for the boundary disputes. Boundary disputes. இதுதான் பிஸ்மார்க்கியன் சிஸ்டம். இந்த பிஸ்மார்க்கின் ஐடியா அப்படியே எல்லாருக்கும் பூந்துச்சு. அதனால்தான் வேர்ல்டு வார். பிஸ்மார்க் மாதிரி செயல்படணும், பிஸ்மார்க் மாதிரி நடந்துக்கணும், பிஸ்மார்க் எல்லாருக்கும் தலைவருங்களுக்கும் வந்து ஜனங்க அங்கங்க ஊர்ல இவன் வேஸ்ட், பிஸ்மார்க் மாதிரி இருக்கணும், பிஸ்மார்க் மாதிரி செய்யணும்ன்ற எண்ணம் எல்லா டெமோக்ரஸிஸிலும் அந்த எண்ணம். இது ஒரு முக்கியமான, இது வந்து வேர்ல்டு வார்க்கு இது ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு சூழல் ஏற்பட்டது. These were the aspects of the Bismarck. Was actually the Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Prussia. Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Prussia. Actually Bismarck, he was called ஒரு தூதரா இருப்பார். புருஷியருடைய இங்கிலாந்துக்கு தூதரா இருப்பார், புருஷிய தூதரா இருப்பார். ஒரு பார்லிமெண்டரி டெட்லாக் ஏற்படும். Deadlock is a constitutional crisis. It's the circumstances of the constitutional crisis in which cannot be resolved. ஒரு பார்லிமெண்டரி டெட்லாக் ஒன்று புருஷன் பார்லிமெண்ட் கால்ட் அஸ் ரைட்ஸ். இன்னைக்கு ஜெர்மன் பார்லிமெண்ட் பேரு ரைட்ஸ்டாக். புருஷன் பார்லிமெண்ட் ரைட்ஸ்ல ஒரு டெட்லாக் என்னன்னா, அது கிங் ஆஃப் புருஷியா வாண்ட் டு மாடர்னைஸ் இஸ் மிலிட்டரி. You need funds. You need the funds. Funds need. Who is the authority of finance in the nation? Parliament. No expenditure can be made from the consolidated fund of India without the authorization of Parliament. So it became Parliament. It became a deadlock. Parliament refused to give fund to the King of Prussia. So he called Bismarck. Bismarck able to resolve this problem easily with the two innovation. Bismarck introduced a new system of pensions. இந்த மெம்பர் ஆஃப் பார்லிமெண்ட்ஸ் இருக்காங்க இல்லையா, ரைட்ஸ் மெம்பர்ஸ், இவனுங்களை எப்படி நம்ம பக்கம் திருப்பணுன்றதுக்கு பென்ஷன்ஸ் ஓட்டு போட்டாங்க. ஓகே, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் டைம் பென்ஷன் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணது இவர் தான். ஓகே, பென்ஷன்ஸ். செகண்ட், அதெல்லாம் தேவையில்லை நமக்கு. செகண்ட் இன்னொரு சிஸ்டம், ரெட்ரோஸ்பெக்டிவ் எஃபெக்ட் ஆஃப் லெஜிஸ்லேஷன்ஸ். பின்தேதி குறிப்பிட்டு செயல்படுவது. ரெட்ரோஸ்பெக்டிவ் எஃபெக்ட் ஆஃப் தி லெஜிஸ்லேஷன்ஸ். ரெட்ராஸ்பெக்டிவ் எஃபெக்ட் இப்போ பார்லிமெண்ட்ரி பில் பாஸ் ஆகுதுன்னா இதனுடைய எஃபெக்ட் போன வருஷம் 1ல இருந்து அமுல்படுத்துது, அப்போ அதுக்கு அமுலாயிடுச்சு. அது அப்புறமா பிளண்டிங், அந்த மணி பில், ஃபினான்ஸ் பில், ரெண்டுத்துக்கும் என்ன வித்தியாசம்? ஒரு நிதி மசோதாவுக்கும் பண மசோதாவுக்கும் என்ன வித்தியாசம்? மணி பில்லுக்கும் ஃபைனான்ஸ் பில்லுக்கும் என்ன வித்தியாசம்? ஒன்றும் வித்தியாசம் தான். ஸ்பீக்கர் சர்டிஃபிகேஷன் தான் மணி பில். ஸ்பீக்கர் இது மணி பில்லுன்னா லோக்சபா மேட்டர், மணி பில்லுன்னா லோக்சபா மட்டும்தான். ஸ்பீக்கர் சர்டிஃபை பண்ணணும், அது மணி பில். பிஸ்மார்க் இந்த மற்ற சட்டங்களோட இதை சேர்த்து விட்டார், இதில் ஈஸியாக சால்வ் பண்ணிட்டார். ஓகே, so Bismarck became a very influential minister in the Prussian parliament and started his ideal of German unification. இவர் அங்க கவுண்ட் கேவர், இங்க பிஸ்மார்க். He started with the ideal, with the 3 events. இவருடைய ஸ்டைல் எப்படின்னா, ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ஒருத்தரோட ஃப்ரெண்ட் ஆவாரு, அவரை வச்சு ஒரு எதிரியை காலி பண்ணுவார். அப்புறமா என்ன பண்ணுவாரு, யார் ஃப்ரெண்டா இருந்தாரோ அவரை காலி பண்ணிட்டாரு. அதான் இவருடைய ஸ்ட்ராட்டஜி. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் 3 wars, 3 events. One is Prusso-Austrian War. Prusso-Austria war, ஆஸ்திரியா ஜெர்மன் டெரிட்டரிஸ் எல்லாம் ஆஸ்திரியன் கண்ட்ரோல்ல இருக்கு இல்லையா? ஸோ ஆஸ்திரியாவை அடிக்கணும். Prusso-Austrian War. ஆஸ்திரியாவை அடிக்கிறதுக்கு புருஷியா சின்ன நாடு, பட் எஃபிஷியன்ட் ஆர்மி பத்தாது. இது யார் கூட சேரணும்? நெப்போலியன் 3. ஃபர்ஸ்ட் அலையன்ஸ் வித் பிரான்ஸ் and Prusso-Austrian War. First one, that is the Prusso-Austrian War. Prusso-Austrian War made with the alliance with France, in which Austria defeated. First Prusso-Danish War. Prusso-Danish War, where the Bismarck started his claim on 2 principalities in Danube, called as Danubian principalities. In that was the 2 principalities of German-speaking people under Kingdom of Denmark. So he waged a war against the Danube. For that he allied with Austria, alliance with Austria, and defeated Denmark, expanded Prussia. Okay, then second, Prusso-Austrian War, in which alliance with the France and defeated Austria. Okay, by that Prussia expanded, enormous expanded, still remaining German-speaking territories still remaining there. It has to united. Hurdle is France. So Bismarck started the strategy of isolating France. First one was alliance with Austria, defeated Denmark. Then alliance with France, defeated Austria. Now ex-allies க்கு தான் அடுத்து வெட்டு. Now isolation of France. To isolate France, Bismarck started supporting Austria again. Then to isolate France, Bismarck supported Russia. To isolate France, Bismarck supported Italy. To isolate France, Bismarck supported the United Kingdom. So everyone across the Europe got allied. From 1869 to 72, Bismarck was very busy in constructing the alliance with the aim of isolating France. Isolating France. In Italy, Italy also aiming France. Italy aiming France because French order to be removed to conquer Rome. And Germany aiming France. Germany aiming the France. But France is sleeping. Napoleon III was sleeping at that time. In 1872, when the conditions became ripened, ready ஆயிடுச்சு எல்லாமே conditions ready. Bismarck is searching a reason for a war with France. இப்போ அடிக்கணும். இப்போ அடிக்கிறதுக்கு என்ன காரணம்? காரணம் தேடிட்டே இருக்கும்போது ஒரு 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 சின்ன காரணம் கிடைக்கும். காரணம்னா சின்ன காரணம். தட் இஸ் ஒரு இஷ்யூ கிடைக்கும். The issue of Spanish succession. The issue of the Spanish succession. In the Spanish succession issue, the issue of Spanish succession, that is, இது ஸ்பெயினுடைய வாரிசு போர் became two factions. One supported by France, other supported by Prussia. Other supported by the Prussia. This issue was negotiated by the French ambassador and the King of Prussia. Bismarck was in London at that time. அவர் நாட்டிலேயே இல்லாம அந்த சமயத்தில் முடிச்சுன்னு இதுன்ட்டு பிரான்ஸ் ரொம்ப ஈகரா பிரெஞ்சு தூதரும் புருஷிய மன்னரும் சால்வ் பண்ணிட்டாங்க. சால்வ் பண்ணிட்டு ஆஸ் பர் பிஸ்மார்க் வாஸ் த வைஸ் சான்சலர். அங்கே பிரைம் மினிஸ்டர் வைஸ் சான்சலர். Bismarck was the vice chancellor. As per the protocol, vice chancellor was the real executive. The message has to be informed to the public through the vice chancellor. புரியுதா? இவர் நாட்டில் இல்லை, இவர் லண்டன்ல இருக்கார். It was given as a telegram. It was given as a telegram. Telegramல எப்படி கொடுத்தாங்கன்னா, the King of Prussia hereafter not wish to meet the ambassador of France over the issue of Spanish succession. புரியுதா? அது மனசில் வச்சுங்க, எழுத்து தேவை. Over the issue of Spanish succession. இந்த மெசேஜ் இனி எங்களுடைய மாமன்னர் இந்த விஷயமா பிரெஞ்சு தூதுவரை சந்திக்க தேவையில்லை அன்ட்டு பிஸ்மார்க் அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணும், பிரஸுக்கு அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணும். ஆனால் பிஸ்மார்க்கு சண்டை வேணும். சண்டை அதை ட்விஸ்ட் பண்ணி சிம்பிளா இயர் ஆஃப்டர் த கிங் ஆஃப் ப்ரூஷியா நாட் விஷ் டு மீட் பிரெஞ்ச் அம்பாசிடர் அனௌன்ஸ் பண்ணார். ஸோ இட் ஃபெல்ட் a blow to the national prestige of France. So war became inevitable. War became inevitable. This is called as Elm's dispatch. ELMS dispatch. On the telegram பேரு Elm's dispatch. It is very, very important. For the first time in the world, demonstrated sensation in press can trigger a war. அதனால்தான் press ரொம்ப முக்கியம். வார்ஸ் இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ரிலேஷன்ஸில் ஏன் அவ்வளோ ப்ரிகாஷன்ஸாக ப்ரெஸ் வச்சுட்டு இது பண்ணுறாங்கன்னா, இந்த ஒரு வரலாற்று அனுபவம். A sensation in the press can trigger an international war. And a war became inevitable. The war, Franco-Prussian War. Franco-Prussian War of 1871, in which France was defeated in the Battle of Sedan. In the Battle of Sedan, the France was defeated and resulted in Treaty of Frankfurt. Treaty of Frankfurt in 1871 is the third occasion of redraw of national boundaries. Third occasion of the redraw of national boundaries. Treaty of Frankfurt. When France defeated, Rome left unguarded. Italian forces entered Rome, and the Pope hidden himself in the Vatican and declared himself as a prisoner. Pope himself declared, யாரும் போய் அவரை பிடிக்கல, நான் அவரே பிரிசனர்னு சொல்லி உட்கார்ந்துனார். Okay, and Rome was captured. By that, Treaty of Frankfurt resulted in one, the birth of Italy and Germany as a new nation states in Europe. The birth of Italy and Germany as a new nation states, and the boundary between France and Germany was demarcated. Boundary between France, இதுல ஒரு முக்கியமான பகுதி அல்சேக் லொரேன், அல்சேக் லொரேன், LORRAINE, Alsace Lorraine was integrated with Germany. New nation states created with the Treaty of Frankfurt. And this Battle of Sedan, Franco-Prussian War, has a long significance, historical significance of the Franco-Prussian War. One is birth of Italy and Germany as a new nation state in Central Europe had a longer significance, a longing significance. That means it resulted in crisis of balance of power. The crisis of the balance of power. The crisis of the balance of power, European balance of power, has to be redefined because of rise of Germany as a new power center. Rise of Germany. Whenever the crisis of balance of power, friends, have an idea, when a crisis of balance of power occurs, it leads to war. Now, crisis of balance of power with the resurgence of Russia. Resurgence of the Russia leads to war. Ukrainian crisis, one of the geopolitical reason for the Ukrainian crisis is the crisis of balance of power became a struggle between expansion of NATO and resurgence of the Russia to define the sphere of influence, that led to war. So it is the crisis of balance of power started. Crisis of balance of power. Then third one is the rise of Germany and Italy resulted in another significance. That means it fueled the competition, new industrial powers, the two new industrial powers, which resulted in fueling of the, it led to spurt in the industrial competition for the industrial markets. With the rise of new industrial power, exasperated the industrial competition. ஏற்கனவே கெட்டு போயிருக்கிற இடத்துல டிக்ஷன்ஸ் பார்த்து யூஸ் பண்ணணும் ஆன்சர்ஸ்ல. ஏற்கனவே கெட்டு போயிருக்கிற பட்சத்துல இன்னும் it exasperated the industrial, the competitions of the industrial competitions for the markets. So it led to industrial competition. The industrial competition in turn resulted in competition for colonies. In turn resulted in the competition for colonies. So two things occurred indirectly. One is industrial competition. There was a competition for markets, competition for resources. Then colonial competition resulted in a new conditions called as Neo-imperialism, neo-imperialism, neo-imperial international order, neo-imperialism in the international order, neo-imperialism in the international order. So rise of Germany and Italy as a new nations just in 1871. They need markets. They need colonies. In 1871, we have only one planet, that is Earth. One planet. That in 1871, almost all the colonies outside Europe, Africa, Asia, Latin America, was followed by England, France, Netherlands, Portugal, everyone. Germany and Italy need colonies. Where they go? No place. Only place vacancy for the colonies was Africa. That started scramble for Africa. That started the scramble for Africa. Scramble for Africa, partition. So in 1871, Africa was called as a dark continent until then. In 1871, only 10% of Africa was colonialized in 1871. But in 1901, how many years? 30 years. In 1901, only 10% of Africa left uncolonialized. You see, within 30 years, it led to scramble and partition of Africa. Scramble and the partition of Africa. Then, fourth, emergence of Italy and Germany. Emergence of the Italy and Germany has created a lesson. A lesson of success of the Bismarckian system. Lesson of success of the Bismarckian system. Bismarckian system. From 1871, Bismarckian system is based on war as an instrument of political solution, organized violence of the state, then secret diplomacies and the secret treaties became the normative future of international relations. Normative future of the, everyone started their army ready for war. Everybody started their political question to wage a war for resolving political question. Everyone is making secret diplomacy, military pacts with others. They're all tended to the First World War. Reason for the First World War not occurred in 1911 or 1912 or 1914, right from 1871. 1871. This represents the study of unification of Italy and the Germany. Unification of the Italy and the Germany in the 19th century. So we'll shift our focus to the other topic now. The 19th century laid the foundations for today. Foundations for the today. Because of certain trends that occurred in 19th century. One of the most important trend that was Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution of the 19th century. Industrial Revolution. How you define Industrial Revolution? What is Industrial Revolution? What is Industrial Revolution? Industrial Revolution எப்படி சொல்லுங்க? தொழில் புரட்சி என்றால் என்ன? புரட்சி என்றால் what is revolution? A change in a drastic period of time. Industrial Revolution is a change in the mode of production. A change in the mode of production. From mode of production into A factory system. Factory means factory என்னது? ஃபண்டமெண்டல்ஸ்ல தான் நம்ம கிளியரா இருக்கணும். Factory, a production unit in which all factors of production are assembled. That is factory. What are the factors of production? Land, labor, இதெல்லாம் ஒரு இடத்துல assemble. அதுக்கு முன்னாடி pre-factory system of production. Pre-factory system called as putting out system. Pre-factory system, இப்போ pre-factory system இப்போ எங்க இருக்கு? இப்போ pre-factory system எங்க இருக்கு? நீங்க இடியாப்பம் சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னு வச்சுங்க, இடியாப்பம் ஹோட்டல்ல, இந்த ஹோட்டலுங்கள போய் இடியாப்பம் சாப்பிட்டீங்கன்னா அங்க அவங்க ப்ரொடியூஸ் பண்றாங்க. அப்பளம் இருக்குல்ல, அப்பளம் எப்படி பண்றாங்க? அப்பளம் மாவு வீடுங்களுக்கு கொடுத்துருவாங்க. வீடுங்களுக்கு கொடுத்தா வீடுங்கள்ல pre-factory system, that means raw materials would be given to the labor household and the reprocurement of finished goods. இது pre-factory system, putting out system. இது பேர். அதுல இருந்து factors of production. இப்போ அப்பளம், பீடி, இதெல்லாம் pre-factory system, putting out system. இடியாப்பம் எல்லாம் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்க முடியாது. ஒரு ஹோட்டல்ல இடியாப்பம் எல்லாம் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்க முடியாது. ஹோட்டல்ல இடியாப்பம் ஒரு இடத்துல எங்கேயோ ஒரு இடத்துல நடக்கும், அங்கிருந்து இடத்துல டிஸ்ட்ரிபியூட் பண்ணிட்டு போயிடும். ஓகே, pre-factory system. In which a change from pre-factory to the factory system, a change in the mode of production into factory system that influence all the institutions of the human life, called as industrial revolution. All the institutions of the human life. இதுல நமக்கு என்ன வேணும்? நமக்கு வேண்டியது origin of the industrial revolution occurred in England. Why it occurred in England? Why it occurred in England? Because English have the optimum conditions for the birth of industrial revolution. English represents the optimum conditions for the birth of the industrial revolution because of the speciality of English factors of production at that time. Birth of industrial revolution occurred in 1750, actually in 18th century. England environment represent specialized circumstances in the industrial that favored the birth of industrial revolution. What are those specialized services? The English advantage in the commercial revolutions, actually. English advantage in the commercial revolution resulted in enormous capital, and England was the frontline nation of commercial revolution, able to have enormous managerial talent, because England organized global management of capital, East India Company, a corporate, global management, global capital, global trading post, managerial talent. And English agricultural revolution, known for enclosure movement in English, that means privatization of farms. Enclosure movement resulted in loss of the village commons, where the farms were all fenced, village commons. That led to breakup of livelihood of laborers. English agriculture migrated to English towns. So surplus labor factor, labor surplus, labor surplus for England, labor surplus for the England. So English advantages in the factors of production and English environment at that time, that is England, English parliamentary system, enabled to vent the problems, channelize the socio-political problems in a peaceful form. English parliamentary system. And England became an asylum for a religious persecuted minorities by the other parts of Europe. England became an asylum for persecuted Jews from France, Huguenots. Those are all best managers at that time. Jews were the bankers. Huguenots banished by French kings, and they were the best industrialists. They all came to England because of English advantage that made the Industrial Revolution to born in England. Then what are the reasons for the birth of Industrial Revolution? What are the reasons for the Industrial Revolution? The reasons for the Industrial Revolution. One, it was the impact of commercial revolution. The impact of the commercial revolution of the 17th century, commercial revolution of the 18th century, about the commercial revolution of 17th century created a new commerce and a new volume of trade of international, which in turn led to demand, the global demand for goods, global demand for the goods, global demand for trade, global demand. So commercial revolution laid a foundation for global value chains, which need mass production, mass production. It created a great capital, and it demanded the mass production that was answered by the Industrial Revolution. Then the second one is this commercial revolution created a market, resulted in convergence between science and technology. Convergence between the science and technology. Scientific ideas became technology of production. For the first time, science converged with the technology, in which the scientific idea of conversion of steam energy into kinetic energy resulted in the engines, internal combustions, external combustions, internal combustions resulted in textile revolution, textile industries. External combustions resulted in railways, So revolutionized the production and revolutionized the transport. Revolutionized the production and revolutionized the transport. Two reasons. One is the impact of commercial revolution, which created a demand and circumstances for the Industrial Revolution. Then convergence of scientific ideas. 17th century is known for scientific revolution. It was the age of Newton, age of Kepler. It was the age of Nicholas Copernicus, 17th century. And these scientific ideas linked with the scientific ideas, linked with the skills of technician, artisan, skills of artisan that resulted in the industrial. And the third one is the agricultural revolution. Agricultural revolution. See, I have an idea, friends. Any nation to become industrially advanced should have a precedent, should be preceded with agricultural success. The US became an industrial giant because of agricultural revolution succeeded in US. England became because of agricultural revolution. Japan, only after the success of the agriculture, it became industrialized. So it was the agricultural revolution, because agriculture linked with the industries in demand side and supply side. In supply side, agriculture supplies industrial raw materials. Okay, that industrial goods produce to be purchased by agricultural income in demand side. In the demand side, who say rural market, now the rural peoples purchases more and more electronic goods. So mobile, more and more the electronic goods. Rural peoples now going for food behavior of the rural peoples were shifting towards they are shifting towards the non-traditional food, food, and rural peoples are supplying raw materials, food to the food industry. So that is the three reasons. The three reasons in the 18th century that led to the industrial revolution. Then the stages of industrial revolution. Stages of the industrial revolution. Three stages on industrial revolution 4.0. Three stages of the industrial revolution. Stage one of the industrial revolution. The first stage of the industrial revolution. Hello. வணக்கம், கிளாஸ்ல இருக்க முடிச்ச பிறகு ஃபோன் பண்ணிட்டா? ஓகே, முடிச்ச பிறகு பண்ணு. ஓகே. The three stages. The first stage from 1750 to 1812. The first stage of industrial revolution. The first stage of industrial revolution was focused on the manufactured goods, especially cotton sector, textile industry. The first stage was centered with the North European countries, England and the France as the North European countries as the first stage of the that was the first stage was highlighted. The first stage was driven by expanding market demand at that time. The first stage. Okay, first stage. Then second stage of industrial revolution from 1813 to 1871. 1813 to 1871, the second stage of industrial revolution, known for the transport revolution. Especially railways, especially the railways. The second stage of industrial revolution was the stage of industrial diffusion. That is spread of industrial revolution across Atlantic, in US, in America, and across River Rhine, that is that is Central Europe, Belgium, Netherlands, Germany, German areas. These are all the second stage of industrial. Unlike the first stage, second stage of industrial revolution is not oriented to demand. It is demand creation. It was the production not oriented to demand, but houses create demand. Houses create demand. How houses say? No people in India demanded no woman in India demanded uh, uh, demanded the saris, the Netlon saris. It was Reliance who introduced the Netlon saris. No houses in India demanded car for them. Car. It was Maruti and Tata introduced family cars. Now every house is aspiring for them. No people in India before 1990 demanded a cellular phone. Corporates creates demand. That is demand creative. What demand creative means, it leads to mass production. It leads to the mass production, where without considering what the actual demand, houses started producing the demand. That led to new concept of new problem in economy called as inventories. Inventories means stagnated stock of the previous year. Okay, inventories. The inventories is the problem of recession, depression, and everything, and every economic problem. Okay, then from 1871 to 1871 to the 1871 to the to 1990s could be stated as 1871 to the world wars. It could be stated as stage 3. The stage 3 is the stage of neo-imperialism. The stage of the neo-imperialism. Neo-imperialism due to industrial competition. Due to the industrial competition. It was the role of Central European countries, the new industrial powers, industrial competition with the new industrial power, Central European countries like England, like the Germany, Italy, then new powers, US, then the new powers, Japan, new powers, the Japan. That was the industrial competition. Industrial competition resulted in conflict, that is war. That is the wars. Industrial competition, that was the what? Huh? Yes, certainly. That is the war. These were the 3 stages of the industrial revolution. Okay. What is its impact? What's the impact of industrial revolution on the society? Impact of industrial revolution. Overall impact of industrial revolution on the people. Industrial revolution came out with the impact that can be accessed as the merits and the demerits. What are the merits? Industrial revolution resulted in the impact of industrial revolution, the generalized impact. One is industrial revolution resulted in demographic revolution across the world, population explosion across the world, global population resulted because of rise in the birth rate, rise in the fertility rate and the birth rate. Then the second, industrial revolution resulted in urban revolution. More and more people urbanize. More and more people they urbanize. Then third, industrial revolution resulted in certain effect in the society, resulted in the advent of new social classes, புது வர்க்கங்கள், the new social classes. What are the new social classes? One was the industrial capitalist, second laborer, urban laborer, industrial capitalist and the urban laborers. That was that seems to be that is rise in the standards of the life that led to demographic revolution, urban revolution. Then industrial revolution resulted in the new social classes that revolutionized new ideas of socialism, liberalism, nationalism. Ideas of socialism, liberalism, and the nationalism. Then the industrial revolution resulted in the new nation states. The new nation states. Okay. Then demerits of the industrial revolution. What are the demerits of the industrial revolution? Demerits of the industrial revolution. One is the industrial competition. Industrial competition. The industrial competition, an acute competition, the industrial competition across the world between the societies, between the societies and nations, and between the nations, industrial competitions. Okay. Then industrial revolution also resulted in the demerits. Then the second, it resulted in the industrial competition resulted in the impact, the economic disruptions as the depressions and the recessions, depressions, even the starvations, even the famine and starvations. Then third, industrial revolutions resulted in enmities and conflicts, resulted in wars. The war for industrial market, national wars for the industrial markets and the industrial interest. Then industrial revolution, fourth one is the industrial revolution resulted in disruption, environmental disruption, a pressure on the environment and the environmental disruptions, So this seems to be some of the demerits. Despite of demerits, the significance of the industrial revolution, the two significant factors of the industrial revolution. One is the industrial revolutions, the two significant factor of the industrial revolution. One was its impact. Its impact on the human life. What are the impact of the industrial revolution on the human life? What are the impact? One is technology. The technological advancements influence the life standards. That is the impact. And second one is it revolutionized the connectivity. It revolutionized the connectivity in the form of modern transport. Modern transports on the modern transport on the railways. Modern transport on the railways. So technological influence, the connectivity influence. markets were the two significant features of the Industrial Revolution. Then Industrial Revolution, known for the unique contribution of one is railways and second one is corporates. Second one is the corporates. What is the corporates separately? Railways. Railways. It was the age of railways, right from the 1813, right from 1813 to the present. It was the age of railways. What is the impact of railways on the human life? Impact of the railways on the human life. What are the merits of the railways? The merits of the railways of the human life. Merits, one is railway led to transport revolution. Led to the transport revolution. A network of the transport revolution. Then second one is railways able to create a network of markets. Network of the markets. Markets. That means railways laid foundation for the national markets. Emergence of national markets. Single market across the nations. Railways, by that railway larger market, railways able to create a social capital across it. Across that. Then what are the demerits that was created by the railways? The impact of the railways. Impact of the railways lead to market disruptions. Railways led to deprivation of the livelihood of local artisans. Livelihood of the artisans, village markets are deprived. Then railways leads to the disruption. That means railways connects the local produce with the global market. That leads to famines and starvations. Then railways also leads to the problem of spread of pandemics and pestilence. Diseases of pandemics and the pestilence. Okay, that is the impact of railways. Then impact of markets. What are corporates? Corporates are legal entities. That is legal citizens of the nations. Corporates are the legal entities. What is the impact of corporates? The impact of corporate. One is the agents of national economies. Corporates are revolutionary agents of the national economies. Then second, corporates were the agents of multinational networks. Multinational companies, multinational networks. Then corporates were the agents of global supply, global value chains and global supply chains. Then corporates were the key agents of gap fillers, key gap fillers of the global demand. When global demand for vaccines occurred, corporates answered, not the government's answer. It was the corporates' answer. Then corporates laid foundations for the globalization. Okay. Globalization. Then what are the pros and cons of the corporates? What are the pros and cons of the corporates? What are the controversial futures of the corporates? Controversial futures of the corporates. that led to corporates known for the role of the role of inhuman, that is a futures, non-human futures of expanding materialism, materialism, and the exploitation of the natural resources. Then second one is corporates known for the futures of the disruptions in sustainable way of life. That is, corporates were the problem of the disruptions in the sustainable way of life. Then third, corporates were disruptive futures. Disruptive futures in the national economies. Corporates are the disruptive futures. Corporates promotes business colonialism. Corporates promotes the business colonialism. Corporates leads to the critical of the indigenous. Corporates were impersonal managers known for critical for the indigenous communities. You see, Vedanta, Sterlite, all critical for the indigenous communities. These are the aspects. Then the fourth stage of the industrial revolution, that was Industrial Revolution 4.0. One of the demerit of the Industrial Revolution, we failed to address the demerit of the Industrial Revolution. Industrial Revolution fueled colonialism. Is the main reason for the colonialism. Industrial revolution, necessity of industrial revolution forced the nations for the colonies. Then Industrial Revolution, fourth stage, 4.0. That is the 21st century futures of the Industrial Revolution. 21st century futures of the Industrial Revolution, the 4.0. What are the characteristic features of the Industrial Revolution fourth point, that is the fourth generational Industrial Revolution? Industrial Revolution 4.0. What are the characteristic features of the Industrial Revolution 4.0? The characteristic features of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. It was the service sector driven. Service sector leading. Service sector are the commanding heights of the economy. Service sector are the commanding heights of the economy. Then technologically determined by cybertronics. It was the cybertronics technology. Then third one is automation of production. Automation of the production. Then fifth one is the management of global supply chains. Global supply chains. It was the global supply chain. These are the four prominent, driven by service sector. Then technology is the information and communication technology. Information and communication technology is the hotline, is the lifeline of the Industrial Revolution 4.0. Industrial Revolution 4.0. These are the information. What are the implications? What are the implications? The implications of the Industrial Revolution. Implications having its effect on the redefining the factors of production. Redefining the factors of production. Redefining the factors of production. What are the factors of production? Factors of production, first one is the labor. Now it is the white collar labor. White collar labor, not the blue collars, the service sector labor. Then land, now it is no land. It is not the land, it is the footloose. No land, it is the footloose industries. Footloose future. Footloose industries means the industries in which industrial location is not a factor. Industrial location is not a factor. You see, for iron and steel industry, you need a location of steel mines or ports. Steel mines are the ports. That is not a factor. Footloose industries. What are the footloose industries? BPOs are footloose industries. Industrial location is not a factor. Cyber industries are footloose industries. Industrial revolution is not a factor. Then management, factors of production. Management means the management means deals with management of global management, that is the global management. Capital now, the capital is global capital, FDIs, FPIs, the global. So redefinition of factors of production: land, labor, capital, technology. Technology is the information communication technology. Redefinition of the factor, implications. Then how its implications. The implications on the factors of production, and then implications on nation states. Implications on the nation states. Implications on the nation states. The nation states, the Industrial Revolution 4.0 having the impact on the nation states. It changes the character of the state into enabling state. Into the enabling state. What is enabling state? What is enabling state? What is the enabling role of the state? What is enabling state? What is the enabling role of the state? We have the state, state of laissez-faire, that means no intervention. State of regulation, state of the regulation from 1951 to 1990, India followed the model of regulatory state. From 1990 to 2007, it was the indicative role of the state. Now it is enabling role of the state. Enabling state, that means state has the dual role. State has the dual role. One is the dual role of the enabling state of India, having the state of dual role. One is the role of the ensuring the forces of globalization. Ensuring the forces of globalization. The MNCs should have the equal treatment, national treatment, forces of globalization to promote production. Then second one is ensuring the fruits of the globalization to reach the vulnerable sections of the population. The fruits of the globalization to reach the vulnerable sections of the population. That means impact of Industrial Revolution 4.0 resulted in change in the character and the role of the state. What is the Government of India's strategy of enabling state? What is the Government of India's strategy of enabling state? Government of India's strategy of enabling state is one is inclusive growth, rapid and inclusive growth. Rapid and the inclusive growth. Then second one is the Second one is national interventional programs, interventional flagship programs. International flagship programs, there were at least 13 national interventional flagship programs. Swachh Bharat Abhiyan, Ayushman Bharat, Jal Jeevan Mission, national intervention, that is the enabling state, that is dual state of welfare, dual state of praising in the midst of globalization. The state of India has to ensure the role of the MNCs in India. And is that you feel that the welfare state concept has been compromised? In the conscience of the impact of 4.0 on the nation state, then impact of industrial revolution 4.0 on society, impact of industrial revolution 4.0 on the society. It's led to criticality. The industrial revolution 4.0 led to the criticality in the aspect of one, divide. The criticality of divisions, divide in the society, digital divide, income divide, digital divide, divide in opportunities, it widening disparities, creating disparities in the society, creating disparities in the society. Then second one is criticality for the survival of vulnerable section, survival of the indigenous communities, especially criticality for the survival of the indigenous communities. Then third, rendume demerit illa. Third, industrial revolution 4.0 led to access to the critical technologies and opportunities. ஒரே வருஷத்துல வேக்சின் கொண்டு வர்றது பெரிய விஷயம். இஸ்ரேலிய கோவிட் வேக்சின் ஒரே வருஷத்துல ஒரு வேக்சின் கொண்டு வர்றது பெரிய விஷயம். ஓகே, அந்த ஃபியூச்சர்ஸ் ஆஃப் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் 4.0ல ஒன்று சேர்த்துனா ஏஐ சேர்த்து, ஏஐ எனேபிள் அது சேர்த்து. ஓகே, ஒரே வருஷத்துல 4.0. ஸோ இம்பேக்ட் ஆன் த சொசைட்டி என்னென்னது? கிரிட்டிகாலிட்டிஸ். ஒன்று வந்து ஏற்றத்தாழ்வுகளை ஏற்படுத்துறது. ரெண்டாவது இண்டிஜினியஸ் கம்யூனிட்டிஸ் வாழ்வியல். மூணாவது அக்சஸ் டு கிரிட்டிக்கல் டெக்னாலஜிஸ். ஸோ இப்போ எது முக்கியம்? Industrial Revolution 4.0 is not only criticality, but is indispensability, especially for India, because we missed the bus in the first stage, second stage, and the third stage. Indispensable. இப்போ என்ன முக்கியம்? Responsibility on the role of the state. எந்த இதுலயும் குளோபலைசேஷன், எம்என்சிஸ், இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் 4.0 தவிர்க்க முடியாது. ஆனா இதை எப்படி கையாளணும்னா ரெஸ்பான்சிபிலிட்டிஸ் ஆஃப் த ஸ்டேட். அரசனுடைய பொறுப்பு முக்கியம். அரசு எப்படி செயல்படணும்? எனேபிளிங் ரோல் ஆஃப் த ஸ்டேட். இதை எப்பவுமே இதை பாரு, இது ஒரு முக்கியமான ஒரு அம்சங்களை டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றோம். இது வந்து பேப்பர் 3, 4, 5, பேப்பர் 3, 4, 2 இந்த 3 பேப்பர்லையும் இது பொருந்தும். இந்த 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 வியூவில் இருக்கணும், இந்த ஸ்டாண்ட் இந்த வியூவில் இருக்கணும். ஓகே, தட் இஸ் தி ஸ்டேஜஸ் ஆஃப் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன், இம்பேக்ட் ஆஃப் தி இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன், ஸ்டேஜஸ் அண்ட் தி இம்பேக்ட் ஆஃப் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன். இப்போ ஒவ்வொரு சில மாடல்ஸ் ஆஃப் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன், மாடல்ஸ் அதெல்லாம் கேட்கல, சில மாடல்ஸ் தெரிஞ்சுங்க. இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் எப்படி இந்த ஒவ்வொரு நாடும் ஒரு தொழில் புரட்சியில் ஒவ்வொரு நாடும் ஒரு விதமாக செயல்பட்டது. ஒவ்வொரு நாடும் ஒவ்வொரு விதமாக செயல்பட்டது. இங்கிலீஷ் இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன், English industrial revolution was out of English advantage. English ஒவ்வொரு நாட்டினுடைய தொழில் புரட்சிக்கும் ஒரு தனித்தன்மை. A distinctive feature of English industrial revolution is of focus on the consumer goods. அதுதான் இங்கிலீஷினுடைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன். நெப்போலியனுடைய கான்டினென்டல் சிஸ்டம் ஃபெயில் ஆனது இங்கிலீஷ் லெதர் இல்லாத யூரோப்பியன்ஸ் வின்டர் வாழ முடியாது. England became a factory of Europe, factory of the world. So English focused on ரஷ்யா கான்டினென்டல் சிஸ்டம் விட்டதே வந்தது. இங்கிலீஷ் லெதர் குட்ஸ் இல்லாம அதனுடைய குளிரை தவிர்க்க முடியாது. நெப்போலியன் சொன்னதை கேட்க முடியாது. ஓகே, ஃபோக்கஸ் ஆன் தி கன்சியூமர் குட்ஸ், நெசசிட்டிஸ் அண்ட் ரயில்வேஸ். ஓகே, இது ரெண்டு தான் இங்கிலீஷினுடைய யூனிக். ரிசல்ட் இஸ் England became factory of the world. In 1871, England consumed 35% of the global iron and coal. Iron coal வச்சு தான், அயன் அண்ட் கோல் கன்சம்ஷன் தான் ஒரு நேஷனுடைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் உடைய லெவல்ஸ் காஜ் பண்ண முடியும். இப்போ ஒரு நேஷனுடைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் எதை வச்சு காஜ் பண்ணுவாங்க? எது? சல்ஃபியூரிக் ஆசிட். எல்லா மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் குட்ஸும் சல்ஃபியூரிக் ஆசிட்ல கழுவணும். நீ ஒரு நேஷன் எவ்வளவு சல்ஃபியூரிக் ஆசிட் யூஸ் பண்ணுதோ அதை வச்சுதான் இது பண்ணும். Many of the European countries has adopted household power. ஒவ்வொரு வீட்டு லெவல் ஹவுஸ்ஹோல்ட் பவர் இது பண்ணிக்கிறான். சல்ஃபியூரிக் ஆசிட் கன்சம்ஷன் வச்சு தான் ஒரு நேஷனுடைய மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் கெப்பாசிட்டி காஜ். அப்போ அயன் அண்ட் கோல் இங்கிலாந்து became then US industrial revolution. Distinctive feature of the US industrial revolution is mass production, L-White model. US revolutionized the industrial revolution. US எப்படின்னா இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் ரெவல்யூஷன் எல்லாம் பண்ணுது. US சிவில் வார் போயிடுச்சு. ஒரு நாளைக்கு 10,000 ரைஃபிள் வேணும். ஒரு நாளைக்கு 10,000 ரைஃபிள் எப்படி பண்றது என்ற ஒரு இது வந்துச்சு. அப்போ L-White மாடல் அன்ட்டு ஒன்று கொண்டு வந்தாங்க. ஒரு ஃபேக்டரியில ஒரு ரைஃபிள் உருவாக்குற ஒரு நாளைக்கு ஒரு ரைஃபிள் தான் உருவாகும். 10,000 ஃபேக்டரி வைக்க முடியாது. 10,000 ஃபேக்ட்ரி வைக்க முடியும். 10,000 ரைஃபிள் ஃபேக்டரி வைக்கிறதுக்கு பதில் ரைஃபிள்னுடைய பார்ட்ஸை பிரி. ட்ரிகர் ஒரு ஃபேக்டரி, ஒரு நாளைக்கு 10,000 ட்ரிகர் தயாரிக்கும். நோசல் ஒரு ஃபேக்டரி, கட் ஒரு ஃபேக்டரி. தட் இஸ் எல்வைட் மாடல். அசம்பிள் பண்ணி, புரியுதா? எல்வைட் மாடல் that led to mass production. That led to the mass production. Then distinctive feature is connectivity. Roadways. Abraham Lincoln சொன்னாங்களா, எது இந்த மாதிரி ரோடை கனெக்ட் பண்ணின்னு இருக்கா? யூஸ் நம்ம நாட்டை விட 5-6 மடங்கு பெருசு. நார்த்ல இருந்து சவுத் ரோடு அப்பவே 8 வே அப்பவே 200 வருஷம் முன்னாடி 8 வே. ஈஸ்ட்ல இருந்து அட்லாண்டிக் டு பசிபிக், கனடா டு. எதுக்கு இந்த மாதிரி ரோட் போட்டிருந்தாங்க? நாட் டு பிகம் ரிச் பட் டு பிகம் ரிச் இன் ஃபியூச்சர். ஆனால் இந்த ரோடு கனெக்ட் ஆனதா நம்ம இஸ் நாட் ஆஃப் பீயிங் ரிச் பட் டு பிகம் ரிச் இன் ஃபியூச்சர். தட் இஸ் கனெக்டிவிட்டி. பெரிய மார்க்கெட் ஆஃப்டர் சிவில் வார், பெரிய மார்க்கெட் connectivity. Effect is US became a leading industrial power by 1914. US by able to outpace United Kingdom, Germany and everyone. Okay. Then German industrialization. Distinctive feature of the German industrialization is Zollverein, Zollverein. Zollverein is a customs union that preceded Germany. Germany unto ஒன்று வர்றதுக்கு முன்னாடியே இந்த யூனியன், ஃப்ரீ மார்க்கெட். Zollverein, that market preceded Germany. Germany is the nucleus of Euro market. Germany shares many boundaries with other nations. It created a market. And Germany is known for planes, enabled railways, expansion of railways. The distinctive feature of Germany is of investment, latecomer to the industries, to the nation state, latecomer. Germany focused on critical technologies. இன்னைக்கும் வந்து இன்டர்நெட் கேபிள் யாருது? நம்மளுடைய இன்டர்நெட் கேபிள் யாருது? சிமெண்ட்ஸ் கேபிள். இந்த மெடிட்டரேனியன் இதுல வருது. யார் கம்பெனி? ஜெர்மனி. Critical Bayers, critical technology, German critical technologies in the spectacles, electronics, electricals, இதெல்லாம் critical technology focused on the. Germany was the pioneer nation in rocket technology. அவங்க தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் ராக்கெட் விட்டாங்க. அவங்க தான் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் சப்மரைன் டெக்னாலஜியை கொண்டு வந்தாங்க. ஓகே, யூபோட்ஸ், சப்மரைன், அந்த கேபிள், சப்மரைன் கேபிள்ஸ் அவங்க தான் கொண்டு வந்தாங்க. இன்னைக்கும் சிமெண்ட்ஸ் தான் மெயின்டைன் பண்ண. ஓகே, critical technology. Impact. Germany became frontline nation in industrial revolution. By 1914, Germany constitutes 14.5% of the global iron and coal. 14.5% of the global iron and coal. Okay. Then Japanese industrialization. Distinctive features of Japanese industrialization is adaptation. East or west, we are best. எங்களுக்கு ஏத்த மாதிரி அடாப்ட். ஓகே, they adopt the technology, they adopt the product to suit them. இப்போ கார் engine, வச்சுனா ஜப்பானுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி கார் தயாரிச்சுனா, யூஎஸ்ல இருந்து கார் டெக்னாலஜி, ஜப்பானுக்கு ஏற்ற மாதிரி சின்ன கார். இது ஸோ அடாப்டேஷன். Then second one is specialization to regional market. Specialization to regional market. East Asian markets. Adaptation, specializations, and connectivity. Because Japan is a scattered islands. So Japan focused on critical connectivity, bullet trains, scattered islands. Okay. Result is population increase. So need of land. In the Bismarckian lines, the necessity of the land could be made only by invasion, militarization of Japan. Okay. Then Chinese industrialization. That is the post-war industrialization. Distinctive feature of Chinese industrialization. Chinese industrialization, architected by Deng Xiaoping. And the Great Leap Forward. Chinese industrialization focused on re-engineering, technology re-engineering. Then second one is mass dumping futures of production. Third one is focused on presence in global value chains. ஒரு ப்ராடக்ட் இப்போ அவங்க ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணல. இப்போ ஒரு புல்லட் ட்ரெயினை தயாரிக்கணும்னு ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணல. இப்போ ஒரு இது புல்லட் ட்ரெயின் தயாரிக்கணும் போல. இந்த புல்லட் ட்ரெயின், இந்த கம்ப்யூட்டர், இந்த ரொபாட்டிக்ஸ், இதுக்கெல்லாம் காமனா என்ன வேணும்? செமிகண்டக்டர். அதை ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணாங்க. புரியுதா? பிரசன்ஸ் இன் த குளோபல் வேல்யூ செயின். சைனீஸ் இப்போ அந்த மானிட்டர், இந்த மானிட்டர், அந்த மானிட்டர்ஸ் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணல. எல்லா மானிட்டருக்கும் என்ன வேணும்? அந்த பிக்சர் டியூப், அதை ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணாங்க. ஓகே, பிரசன்ஸ் இன் தி குளோபல் வேல்யூ செயின். ரிசல்ட் இஸ் advent of state capitalism. Then Indian industrialization. Since the post-war, third world industrialization, focuses self-reliance. Second, PSUs as the commanding heights. Third, Gandhian socialism. Okay, result is lack of global value chains. Second, vulnerability to external shocks. Third, premature industrial saturation. Premature